Hey, Shalom. This is Shalamar from the Great Millstone Atlanta Camp. First, I want to say Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace and safety to the elect of Israel. I want to get into this topic of Samhain, which is where Halloween originated from, or the Day of the Dead, and basically get into the how Halloween is associated with this satanic holiday. But first, I want to show a couple of things. Okay, this actually started October 13th, and it's gonna last to the 30th. It says preparation for Hallows Eve, which is Halloween, Samhain, Halloween, abduction, holding, and ceremonial preparation of individual for human sacrifice. So it starts actually October 13th. So you're probably gonna see a lot of, well, there already been a bunch of people missing, um, abductions or whatever. But you're gonna see more of that. It says Satan is high, holy day related to Halloween, and this is October 28th through the 30th. But this actually goes over into like the beginning of November. So they do. They have it's a blood sacrifice. You have human sacrifice each day. Like I said, you're gonna see a lot of people coming up missing for these sacrifices. And I also want to read something in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and I'm gonna go down to 22. It says, moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace, for which they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revealance of strange rites. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another treacherously, or grieved him by adultery, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, for forgetfulness, good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanliness or uncleanness. And it says, verse 27, for the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. So this is going into the sacrifices, and these traditions that Esau Edom, going back to the so-called white man who was Esau Edom, that he came up with, and still is pushing pushing this day. You know, it just changed the name of certain things. Um, you know, which is this is going into, which is the topic is Halloween. But I'm gonna get into this article. This is on history.com. Samhain. It says Samhain is a pagan religious festival originating from the ancient Celt spiritual tradition. In modern times, Samhain, a Gaelic word pronounced Samhain, is usually celebrated from October 31st to November 1st to welcome in harvest and usher in the dark half of the year. Celebrants believe that the barriers between the physical world and the spirit world breaks down during Samhain, allowing more interaction between humans and denizens of the other world. So basically, uh, it sounds like they're just trying to conjure up demons. In doing that, you know, they have their sacrifices, they have the you know, their sexual acts. You know, it's basically a bunch of wickedness that's celebrated, and now is pushed throughout the whole world. It says ancient Samhain. The ancient Celts marked Samhain as the most significant of the four quarterly fire festivals, taking place in the midpoint between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. During this time of the year, hearths, fires, and family homes were left to burn out while the harvest was gathered. And those hearths, hope that I'm saying the name right, is basically bottom of like a fireplace. But it says after the harvest work was complete, celebrants joined with Druid priests to light a community fire using a wheel that would cause friction and spark flames. The wheel was considered a representation of the sun and used along with prayers. Cattle were sacrificed, and participants took a flame from the communal bonfire back to their home to relight the hearth. So just like I was reading in Wisdom of Solomon 14, you know, they have these they put these uh so-called holidays, you know, these satanic how high satanic days, and they spreaded it, you know, through the whole earth, and basically the you know, to stay in not only stay in power, but just to spread wickedness throughout the earth. And that's the main goal of Esau Edom, who the, you know, the so-called white man, who the Bible speaks of as being the devil. That's his main goal, is to spread wickedness throughout the earth. I'm gonna get a precept, Colossians 2 and verse 8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. So that's exactly what Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has done. He has deceived the whole earth with his wickedness. You know, now people think that they're going out with their children, dressing their children up, and going out to basically to get candy. But that's not what this is about. But I'm gonna get more into it. Okay, this is the Halloween part of it. Samhain monsters. Because the Celts believed that the barrier between worlds was breachable during Samhain, they prepared offerings that were left outside villages and fields for fairies and Seeds. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. I think the Seed, if it's missing a D, I believe that that means someone that is perfect. I tried to research that word, and that's all that uh, Google gave me. But I'm gonna continue to read. It says it was expected that ancestors might cross over during this time as well. So they're basically trying to conjure up ghosts. They're trying to conjure up demons. Um, it says the Celts would dress as animals and monsters so that the fairies were not tempted to kidnap them. So that's where you get the dressing up at that time of the year. That's what it goes back to. So we're gonna look at some of these monsters and animals they dressed up as. It says some. Okay, let's look at this one right here. Trying to figure out how to pronounce it. It looks like Pukan. And this is not what I was trying to get. Hold on. Okay, so this is an artist. Let me get into some images, see if it'll bring something up. Okay, so yeah, it's not gonna give me anything. But it's basically it was a shape shifting creature. Um, it says the Lady Gun is a headless woman dressed in white who chases night wanderers and was accompanied by a black pig. So that's this thing here. And it said headless. This is what Esau Edom is pushing. This is the wickedness that people are celebrating on Halloween and don't even realize it. And they thought this was real stuff back in the day. Okay, now it says the Dullahan sometimes appear as empress creatures, sometimes headless men on horses who carry their heads, riding flame-eyed horses. Their appearance was a death omen to anyone who encountered them. So, what's the name of uh, that movie? Sleepy. I think it was Sleepy Hollow, something like that. That's what this thing is. It's like the headless horseman. at something else. Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It says a group of hunters known as fairy hosts might also hunt Samhain and kidnap people. Similar are the slugs who would come from the west to enter houses and steal souls. So on the other side, you had people that was actually out committing major crimes, breaking in houses, kidnapping people during this holiday, and they blamed it, saying that it was some type of mythical monster, or you know basically something created. It says one of the most popular Samhain stories told during the festival was of the second battle of Mag Turet, which portrays the final conflict between the Celts pantheon pantheon known as Tuatha de Danann. I know I'm probably mispronouncing these words, but you see what it says on the screen. It says an evil oppressors known as the from former form Fomar. Fomor. The myth states that the battles unfolded over the period of Samhain. So this Samhain, which is pretty much Halloween, is just a straight up wicked day where people push in, conjure up these. You actually, just the act alone, you read in the beginning, is to connect the two worlds. So people are basically trying to conjure up demons and um, dressing up, partying, having feasts, having candy feasts. Then you have the adults that have the big Halloween parties. I'm gonna get a couple more precepts and then I'm gonna close this out. But the main reason I'm pushing this video is because we need to expose Esau wickedness, because it has basically destroyed all people. I'm gonna get Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. It says, "Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Yeah, we don't need we need to come out of these so-called holidays, and people, once you wake up to this truth, people look at you like you're a weirdo because you don't celebrate Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas. Not even knowing what they're celebrating. We actually, my family, we even before the truth, we was looking like looking at Halloween, like, so much happened on Halloween. We just stopped going out, stopped doing everything. This was before the truth, but that's how I know that the Spirit was working with us, because the Lord was actually giving us prepared for this truth while we was still somewhere in the world. Christmas was dying, Thanksgiving was dying, Halloween was pretty much dead. But also birthdays and certain things. Yeah, we was just it seemed like everything just died off, and then all of a sudden we get hit with the truth. So call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah for that. But all people, like I said, have no idea what they're doing by celebrating these holidays, because they see everybody else doing it. But what am I looking for? The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh of thy power. I will also forget thy children. So, if you still in the world, and this is your first time hearing about this truth, hey, you need to get more into it, find out what's really, basically find out what's really going on in the world. Do some research about these holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, uh, and everything that goes on throughout the year. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I hope this was edifying. Until next time, Shalom. Once again, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us this truth. Peace and safety to the elect of Israel. Shalom.